Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Well, it looks like Kevin Feige's house cleaning over at Marvel might be continuing, and the latest on the chopping block might be none other than Simu Liu's Shang-Chi, because it's according to some interesting information from Inverse out there, it looks like his roles in Avengers 5 has been drastically reduced from what it's been. Now, obviously, we've heard a lot of the rumors that have been confirmed that have been from a very reliable source, WDW Pro, that Kevin Feige has been out there. Not actually, that one wasn't WDW Pro. I'm used to that. It was actually Chris Gore out there, boys and girls, that Kevin Feige has been going through and cleaning out all woke producers under the guise of, well, things that just didn't work. And obviously Shang-Chi is one of those movies that, by argument's sake, is pretty easily able to argue that that movie lost money and, of course, was extremely unpopular with a lot of the fans out there. And honestly, at the end of the day, Shang-Chi was not the character that a lot of people were asking for in any way, shape, or form to end up spending hundreds of millions of dollars on a box office movie. And it's certainly not a character a lot of the fans are out there clamoring for them to come back, especially after all the idiotic things that Simu Liu has said out there in the public sphere. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what we've got to talk about here. Because according from CosmicBook.News, Marvel cancels big plans for Simu Liu and Shang-Chi in Avengers 5. Now, this really should not come as too much of a shock or surprise to anybody, because we'd heard from Marvel officially, and we'd been hearing rumors about it early on before it actually initially happened, that they were going to plan on doing some pickups and reshoots over the summer, essentially 3 months of reshoots for this entire movie. And from what we've heard, I mean, anybody that knows what kind of movie scheduling goes on, 3 to 4 months is enough time to do an entire movie, to shoot an entire movie. And if the rumors be true, just like they were accurate about the fact that Marvel did officially announce that this movie was getting redone, well, the rumors are saying that this movie was basically completely and totally reshot with the exception of the action scenes. And it sounds like Simu Liu's Shang-Chi is on the chopping block of all of that. So we're going to check it out in this article from CosmicBook.News. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share it with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, because, boys and girls, that algorithm ain't treating us very right at all right now, and we are really itching our way towards 1,200, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, whether you're watching this live as we record it right now, or if you're checking this video out on the replay, make sure you leave us a comment in the section down below. Let us know if you would end up missing Simu Liu, whether or not you actually end up enjoying Shang-Chi, or if this is something that is very, very happy to your ears to hear. So, from Matt McGloin, sounds like Kevin Feige is continuing to clean up the MCU. First one on the chopping block was Eternals. Now it's Shang-Chi. Thank the Lord for that. According to a new report, the original plans for Avengers 5 was, when it was Kang Dynasty, was to have flick star Simu Liu and have Shang-Chi as one of the film's main leads. Oh, really? The character that nobody asked for and a lot of people did not have a great reaction to. Not to mention, I just heard it was a bad movie all the way around. I wasn't going to waste my money on it. Recall Shang-Chi director Destin Daniel Cretton was originally supposed to direct Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, but last November was announced off the project. Boy, I wonder if that was part of Kevin Feige's house clean. He's like, yeah, we need billion-dollar blockbusters, not movies that cost us hundreds of millions of dollars and also get us roasted by the Asian audiences that we were trying to appeal to. Wonder why that guy doesn't have a job anymore. That's not all that got booted from Avengers 5, as Jonathan Majors got the heave-ho too. Whether it's because of the big failure of Quantumania or because of Majors' legal struggles or a combination of both is unknown. It's probably a combination of both, but trust me, Disney would have looked the other way with all of this kind of stuff if that movie had brought in, like, I don't know, $800 million or $1 billion at the box office. It did not happen. That movie cost them money, so color us shocked there that everybody involved is gone. But regardless, at the past summer's Comic-Con, Marvel and Kevin Feige confirmed the MCU is moving away from Kang Dynasty in favor of Avengers Doomsday starring Robert Downey Jr. The info about Simu Liu and Shang-Chi is being a part of Avengers 5 comes via Inverse. Inverse can confirm, right? They are confirming this. They are putting their name to this, and their insiders have absolutely 100% said this is a fact. And honestly, like I said, considering all of the massive amounts of reshoots that happened over the summer, would this surprise anybody whatsoever? Inverse can confirm that in the original plans for Avengers 5, then called Kang Dynasty, Shang-Chi would have been one of the film's main leads. A lot changed since then. Avengers 5 was meant to focus on Kang the Conqueror, but Marvel has since completely retooled the film to introduce Victor Von Doom. So it looks like, at best, Simu Liu has been relegated to a backseat in the story if he even shows up at all. Now, they say they can confirm that his has been drastically reduced, right? He's not going to be one of those main leads. They just says a lot has changed, right? They're not even saying he's still in the movie. They're just saying a lot has changed. So he literally could be completely and totally erased from this movie. And considering all the fan backlash and all the nonsense that's happened with this guy, trust me, at this point, it would be best just to cut ties, because there is no segment of the legitimate Marvel fan base out there that is clamoring for this guy to come back. I promise you that. It could be very well possible that Simu Liu and Shang-Chi are still part of Avengers Doomsday, but it seems likely that the role won't be as big as it would have originally been in Avengers The Kang Dynasty, especially with Destin Daniel Cretton directing. Obviously, why wouldn't he want to use the character that he directed that caused a company to lose hundreds of $millions to bring them over to the next flop that they were going to produce, which still Captain America 4, i.e. the Falcon movie, very, very much so is looking like it will be a disastrous dumpster fire too. The move away of Shang-Chi in favor of Robert Downey Jr. shouldn't be all that surprising. Shang-Chi only made $432 million, which is less than Quantumania's $476 million. Worth a mention is that Asian audience weren't too keen on the flick as well. While Shang-Chi was the highest grossing of the Shang-Chi, Eternals, and Black Widow, it is the lowest grossing among South Korean audiences by nearly 50%. And that was the other big part of this movie that caused it to flop with a lot of the mainstream audiences out there, because not only was it not a very well put together movie, but at the exact same time, it was one of them situations where this is something that they made the marketing all about representation, pandering to an audience that didn't want to be pandered to, and completely and totally rejected this movie. This was a movie that was supposed to bring in that Asian demographic, and guess what? They completely and totally rejected it. And don't even get me started on the whole, he's not the right version of Asian, that a lot of the Asians out there have a huge argument over when it comes to this kind of stuff and depicting people and their source material accurately. Look, I ain't gonna be mad at them. We scream about that stuff all the time. But seriously, this was an absolute disastrous dumpster fire when it came to trying to pull in any kind of actual Asian audience. So, of course, Simu Liu claims it's still happening. If it actually happens, it'll be years later. In a recent report, in a recent video with an Indian out there. But at the exact same time, this could just be one of those things where we know they don't want to put any major announcements about that. The Eternals thing was simply nothing more than a leak. It was not an official thing. It was just Deadline out there confirming that, yes, it has been canceled. And if Deadline's saying it, then yes, it's true. That's why everybody else ran with it. It's the exact same thing with this kind of situation here. Will we ever get an official announcement from Disney Marvel that Shang-Chi 2 is not going to happen? No, but what we're going to get is that it's going to be quietly talked about less and less over the years. People are going to ask questions, and eventually, much like Star Wars' Boba Fett, actor Simu Liu is going to end up going, well, I'm still waiting on the phone call. Things are supposed to be in the works, but I haven't heard nothing yet. And I'd imagine, considering the disastrous dumpster fire and the entire reboot that Kevin Feige, I believe, currently has planned for Secret Wars and the whole Doom stuff with Avengers 4 and 5, yeah, buddy boy, homeboy, bye-bye, so long, we don't need you, nobody really is going to miss you. And the best part about this is, ladies and gentlemen, is that this would line up perfectly with the whole idea of Avengers 5 and 6 being a complete and total reboot and a house cleaning and an excuse to use Secret Wars to get rid of all of the characters that aren't working. And there is no doubt in any legitimate Marvel fan's mind out there that Simu Liu and Shang-Chi is something that certainly did not work. So bye-bye, so long, we won't miss you, and don't let the door hit you or the good Lord spit you, Simu Liu, because trust me, you did it to yourself.